Maybe you are just starting up, or you are getting bullied by griefers on their broomsticks, or just typical tryhards who feel like they need to annihilate the whole lobby. If you've been in any of these situations, you probably want to get good at defending yourself and getting good at 1v1s against other players or against enemies in missions. So today I'm going to talk you through what I do to be better at 1v1s and countering those pesky griefers. I'm going to discuss what weapons I use, what cars are good for defensive and offensive maneuvers, and what can you do to be better. But before that, I just want to say that I won't teach you how to be a tryhard and how to do 360 no scopes or spam rockets, because myself and regular players are not about that, and if you want to know, there are actually other tryhards that can give you tips on that. Okay, now let's get started. If you are not a long-time player of the game, you probably won't engage in vehicle combat and will most likely have to fight in ground battles. And majority of the time, fights will still happen on the ground, so it's good to learn ground combat. For that you will have to get good at using your weapons. First step, I would suggest cleaning up your gun wheel so you only have the guns you truly need for a fight and not all the unnecessary ones. For shotgun selection, assault shotgun for really good close combat weapon. For heavy weapons, grenade launcher for launching grenades around corners and buildings. Homing launcher for quicker launch missiles and homing capabilities. Minigun for quick elimination of your target or multiple targets. Railgun for sniping down jets and flying vehicles, and rocket launcher for blowing up cars or your target. For throwables, I would only leave the grenades and sticky bombs. Grenades only if you need to throw them around corners, and sticky bombs are just so versatile to booby trap a corner, throw out of the window or anything else. For pistols, I would leave the machine pistol when you need to shoot out of your car's window, and up an atomizer to launch yourself over obstacles and launch your opponents so they can't shoot you. Also, you can leave your heavy revolver in the gun wheel if you want to one-shot people out of your windows, but it tends to be hard. For SMGs, only leave your combat MG for fire suppression over walls or when you can't use your minigun. For assault rifles, honestly just choose any of them, it doesn't really matter, you won't use them often. And for weapons you will use the most, the sniper rifles, you will need a heavy sniper, preferably a Mark II variant, more on that later, and marksman rifle for rapid fire sniper needs. So now you are in ground battle, and most of the time your enemy will be far away and you will have to use your sniper rifle. For that you will need to use your heavy sniper, since it can two-shot your enemies or one-shot enemies when it's in Mark II variant. To have the best success rate while using it, I suggest you go into first-person mode, since your movement while in ADS will be much faster and you will be a harder target to hit. And you might notice from my footage that my scope might look a bit different from yours. It is a thermal scope, and it's an upgrade you can get when you make your sniper rifle into Mark II variant. And the scope helps with spotting your enemies on buildings and on crowded streets. So how to get that Mark II variant? For that you will have to own any of the special vehicles under service tab in your quick menu and have gun workshop inside, or own an arcade, and after casino setups you will have your own gun workshop inside. Then just simply pay some money to convert it into Mark II and you are done. Now you have a sniper rifle that can one-shot your enemies and can have night vision or thermal scope. Furthermore, in combat with your sniper, you can turn your back to your enemy that you just shot down, so he will spawn behind you and you can quickly shoot at him again. When you get a bit richer, you can get into armored cars. For combat, Night Shark is great since it can take 27 homing rockets, and if you add armor to your windows, you now can be easily shot through front glass, so you can run from oppressors or ram your opponents without getting shot at. Imani cars are another great category of vehicles since they have lock-on missile jammers and oppressors or other vehicles won't be able to lock onto you. On top of that, they have great armor against explosives and can withstand upwards of 12 homing rockets. If you are interested, I have done a video on the best Imani cars, so go and check it out after this video. On top of having armored cars, you will need to know which vehicles or guns counter what vehicles. To counter oppressor Mark II griefers, your best option is to have a Toreador, which has incredible missiles that when they lock onto Mark II is almost 100% 50% chance that that Mark II will no longer be able to fly. And Toreador even can withstand 7 missiles, so you will be fine inside it. If you don't own a Toreador or you are stuck on ground, you can try blowing them up by throwing a sticky bomb in the air and detonating it when oppressor is near. To counter any jets, it is really useful to have this new railgun, which can be found at the gun van. And this railgun works like a sniper that when it hits the target, it instantly blows up the jet or flying vehicle. To counter any helis, you have 3 options: either railgun, homing missiles, or use a minigun to shoot the pilot out of the plane. If you see a tank, it is really useful to have Oppressor Mark II, since it is a really small target and the tank won't be able to hit you easily. But if the Oppressor is too expensive, you can use your helicopter. Just don't forget to dodge and weave the tank rounds, since you are a large object to hit. And finally, if you have to go against the Toreador itself, your best option is to stay on ground and shoot your minigun at it, since it doesn't have any armor on the windows. Later on in your GTA journey, it will be useful to learn at least one vehicle really good. For example, the Sparrow. It is a small, agile helicopter with missiles and countermeasures, which is really good to use since it spawns next to you, and you can even learn to shoot down your opponent while they are below you on the ground. It is quite fun, really useful, and it is faster than the Oppressor Mark II. And final tip for you that I have today is not to get angry when someone is better than you. You will sometimes encounter someone that is better than you, like a tryhard, and if you are stuck in a 1v1 with him, it is best just to observe him and maybe learn a few things from him. Or turn on your passive mode and run as fast as possible from him so you don't get killed. So these have been a few things that help me with player versus player combat and in missions. If you have any more tips, share them in the comments down below with other people. It would be interesting to know what your experience was. And don't forget that practice makes perfect. Consider subscribing, and I will see you lovely people in the next one. Have a magnificent day.